We followed in commentary today by Joe, aka Speedy number 25. Good morning, Joe.
Good morning. Yeah, good afternoon. Yeah, good evening as well.
Yeah, so today we've got a bit of sad news. If anybody hasn't heard, we've had a death in the F2 race at Spa-Francorchamps. So we'll be doing a single file lap through qualifying for everybody to do just a single file lap. So come out of pits and then pretty much straight back into pits. So it will take a bit of time for everyone to do that, but that's just a sign of respect, and then we'll have our minute silence through the warm-up lap. So that's the bad news out of the way. Just a happy Father's Day to all the Australian and New Zealand fathers out there that are watching. I do believe the rest of the world celebrated at a different time, so happy Father's Day there. So now to get on to the race, Joe, Circuit de Catalunya, you had a pretty good race in the F3. We'll get your rundown on what your thoughts are of the track in a second. I'll just bring up the YouTube stream and get these comments going. Our normal commentator with me today, Robin Kreft, is having PS4 problems. It won't spit out his other disc that he was playing. So unfortunately he can't commentate with us today. So yeah, we'll get your rundown, Joe, of what you think of Circuit de Catalunya. Yeah, just give us a rundown, mate.
It's a testing track from my opinion, but yeah, it's not my particularly favourite track, but yeah, it's all right first sector. And the corner that catched me out today was, I forgot what turn it's called, but it's onto the straight. It's very easy to hit the wall, spin your car out and hit the wall. So
turn 9, I think, before the second DRS straight.
Yeah, and then
I think it is.
Yeah, and then the last sector you probably need to be saving ERS and that.
Yeah, so Mackenzie Stewart's our first one out, and he will back the field up. You see him there just holding second gear, backing the field up. So this won't be anything spectacular, guys. This is just a formation lap, just to pay our respects for the grieving family, and the whole F1 community will now be grieving as well. So I don't know, Joe, if you've been watching F2 lately, mate, but have you got any predictions on what's going to happen here today?
I've seen some of them, and I know Bailey's been quite strong. And Mackenzie, is it Stuart?
Yep.
Is it Stuart Mackenzie? Yeah, Stuart. Yeah. So I'll probably go for both of them to do well, but yeah.
Yeah, John in the other McLaren's pretty quick as well. I think he's P2 in the championship behind Bailey.
Oh yeah, I need to get that up just quickly.
So yeah, there's a couple of new guys here. We got Leaf or Lef from he lives in America, but I do believe he's Spanish background or Mexican background. And we got Kazim, which is, I think his real name's Matt, but don't hold me to that, in the Red Bull, Aston Martin Red Bull. So again, guys, it doesn't look very spectacular, but this is just a single formation, just to pay our respects. So nothing over the top, but it is killing a bit of lap time, bit of time off their qualifying. Now they all come back into pits.
It's interesting, as all of them are on the softs, except from 3 other people on the halves. Oh,
Addy's on the mediums, your fellow British racer.
oh
So
yeah.
you got 4 that aren't on softs, but yeah, as we just found out in the F3, if you're gonna do a qualifying lap on softs, you're guaranteed a 2-stop strategy. The only way for a 1-stop is mediums to hards. So it'll be interesting to see who comes out on what now. As we got Kazim coming in the pits here, so will be interesting strategy wise. Will a couple of the slower guys go on to the hards? Will these new 2 drivers know strategies? Alex is back now from his 2-week break, so he will have a bit of pace in the Williams. He'll be missing his teammate, as we've got a car up the top of the pit lane there coming out. Who is that? It's not Bailey. Alex. No, it's must be John. No.
Okay.
Mackenzie.
So
This is the first one out. So Mackenzie's still out on his hards. Alex is out on the hards. Bailey's out on the hards. Brett's on mediums. Kazif or Chasm is out on hards. Who else have we got? Addy's out in the softs. And so is Josh Banks. So it'll be interesting to see what their strategy is. If they back out of it from sector 3 and just put in a bank of time, maybe.
Yeah.
But everybody else has gone the 1-stop strategy at this stage. So we'll just wait for start and get flyers. Mackenzie Stewart will be the first one across the line to start his flyer. Not the best exit. And then we got a Renault behind him. Is that Sebastian or Bailey just behind him? It's Bailey just behind him. And then Alex behind him. So we got provisional poles running 1, 2, 3 on the track. So let's see what these 3 guys can do. We'll jump on board here with Stuart Mackenzie. So this is turn 4, coming down the hill into turn 5 now. Into second gear, third, short shifts. Remember guys, these guys are using no traction, no racing line, no assist of any sort. So it's a little different from F2 and F3. Comes up to one of the hardest corners on the track. Especially if someone spins out there and you don't see them, like what happened to myself.
Yeah, and I did that like twice.
Yeah. Oh, it's Matthew Ellie's already out. Can we get a spot of where that's happened? Oh, probably not. Because you can't jump on board crash cars anymore, which is a shame. So Stuart Mackenzie's coming across the line. He's done a 120.4, will jump on board. Bailey's already beaten that, and Alex has already beaten that with a 19.8 flat on a hard set of compound tyres. And he's going for another lap. So Bailey's got out of his way. It'll be interesting to see if Alex is up or down on this first sector. He's up by 1/10 of a second, so engine's gone quickest with the 19 flat on mediums. So this is a very good qualifying lap at the moment. Tyler's in P3 now, that's a big surprise with a 19.9. Nadir P4 in the Alfa Romeo, as we have a Ferrari in the background there at turn 3 spun around. Addy's in pits. Josh must have invalidated his lap on the softs. So what can Alex do here at the end of this second flyer lap? He's still hitting all the curbs. Comes around the final turn. Can he improve his lap? No, he can't. He's a second, 1.6 seconds off. So that's a... He must have aborted that lap halfway through it. Tyler's still shortcutting corners. So Tyler's in the pits. Nadir. Bailey's going for another hot lap. So I do know that he's been doing a hot lap, a cool down lap, and then another hot lap. As we got a Red Bull pulling straight off the track for Bailey to get around. So engine at the moment in the box seat. The two McLarens of Mackenzie and John have back down in P8 and 9. After last week's result, they won't be wanting that too much. Josh has done a 121.7 on softs. Addy's back out on a new set of softs. So your fellow countryman Addy in P13 there, Joe, is the only one yet to set a time.
He came fourth in the last race, didn't he? Oh, was it third?
Fourth, I think, yes.
Yeah.
So Robin is watching the stream, ladies and gentlemen, and he will put in a few comments, and he's interested to see how these two new guys perform. And the best so far is the American in Leif, I think it is pronounced, in P7. So engine's gone on to softs, but he won't want to be starting on the softs because that's going to, well, it's not going to throw him out of contention, but as close racing as this is, I wouldn't want to be going on a 2-stop where everyone else around you is on the 1-stop.
Yeah. You probably have to get maybe a 10-second lead on car ahead.
Oh, you'd really want to make the best out of your 2-stop strategy, wouldn't you? Really want to be pushing.
Yeah. And then that can cause mistakes, so...
Yeah. Yep. So we'll jump on board. Just trying to figure out. We might jump on board Brett when he comes out of pits. And on his flying, I'll get you, Joe, to do a flying lap. Running commentary flying lap. When Brett comes out of pits. But everyone else... So we've had Mackenzie, Stewart and John jumped up to P3 and 4. So they've locked out the second row. At this time, John's doing another lap, or is he finishing a lap? 124.4, that must have been his out lap. Oh no, it would have been a cool down lap. So John's on the charge again. So he's pushing these hard tyres a fair way. Bailey's gone on to mediums. Addy's up to P2 in the Mercedes on the soft compound tyres. So Addy set himself up for a 2-stop. Or unless if he's got that pace on mediums, but I doubt it. We know guys like Bailey and Mackenzie will have that pace on mediums, but Addy's strongest point isn't one-shot qualifying, it's keeping out of trouble within the race, and I'd like to say being lucky, but he's smart about his race pace and where to put the car. every single time. So we got yellow flags in sector 3. Oh, Brett's out, so we won't be doing a flying lap with Brett. So that's a shame for Brett. John's still going. As Robin's just asked, at Bahrain or China, did Mercedes also a different strategy compared to others?
Yes.
Yeah, I do believe so, Robin. So very well spotted. Mercedes are doing the opposite strategy to everyone else. So Joe, we'll get you to do a flying lap on board Mackenzie. He's still on his out lap, just coming into the third sector now. At P5. So I'll run it over to you, Joe. You can take us on board with a flying lap.
Alright, so you need to get probably a good exit here from the last one into the main straight. Oh, the stress the 7th. In overtake mode down into turn 1. Needs to get over that curve, hitting that apex, trying to get as close as possible, and try and right throttle forward into turn 3. Oh, into turn 3. Into third gear onto turn 4. Yeah, then into turn 5, a bit mini chicanes, and then this corner into the back straight. The third sector here. This is probably where some time the lap can cost you. If you tug that right hand side, not too much with your spin, into 4th or 3rd here. And then over the 2 chicanes and into the home straight.
And he goes pole with that lap with an 18.4. So just before he done that lap, I don't know if anyone noticed, but Robin did, obviously looking at the timing boards. John and Mackenzie were both at the same time with the 19.752, and Mackenzie's just gone with an 18.8. Now, our reigning champion, Daniel Vale, who's not racing this season, has come out and said pole time should be at least on the 17s on mediums. So, Daniel Vale, at that time, would obviously have 0.8 of a second up on Mackenzie Stewart if he was here racing, but... So we got a few guys coming out.
Yeah, I was expecting the times to be a bit lower.
A bit lower than what they are, yeah. So Addy and Engine are still on the soft compound tyres. Coming out of pits now. So this is interesting. They'll be the only 2 drivers on the 2-stop strategy unless if the guys at the back of the field select to go for it and try and make up some places. So as Josh Banks does an 18.7 to bump Mackenzie Stewart. Now that's a very good lap from Josh. He was obviously fighting John last season for the championship. Hasn't really found his groove with this new game, but that's a very good lap there from Josh. So who else can do what? Engine's got Bailey just in front of him. Is this... Oh no, Engine's still on an out lap. Bailey's on his out lap as well, so Engine won't... Nadir's on his lap. Oh, he is too. So he's coming around the final corner now. Alex has crashed somewhere. Sector 2, I would say that would be the notorious turn 10. Nadir does a 19.4 to bump him up to P6. Now remember, Bailey and Engine are line and stern here. So this could be a very good... It'll be a big difference to see what the soft compound is. Oh, his Engine hits the gravel at turn... the outside of the ripple strip, and he's aborted his qualifying, so that's going to put him out as Addy goes into P1 with an 18.6, so he's only 1/10 quicker than Josh on a set of, as John goes now to an 18.2, so the flying laps are coming. Stuart McKenzie's about to come across the line.
It's lower.
18.4, so must have been an invalidation. That would have put him P2. So Engine's out. What can Bailey do? Bailey's up by 2/10. Comes across the line to do an 18.6. So Bailey onto P3. So John again. Engine can't improve because he had that spin. Nadir's coming into pits. So, there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. So John with another pole position. That's now 4 out of the 5. Addy's a big surprise in P2, being on the soft compound tyres. And that spin is going to hurt Engine being in the mid-pack on the soft compound tyres. So he's got a lot of work to do now when the race gets going.
He did his time on medium.
Oh, did he do? Oh, he did too. He did his best on the medium, so that won't hurt him too bad. Good spotting there by Joe. So, Joe, do you feel comfortable doing a quick grid rundown before we get on to our minute silence?
I don't know some of the names, so...
Okay, so I'll quickly do a grid rundown. We got John in P1 for the McLaren, then we got Addy Bettenbauer for P2 in the Mercedes, Bailey Ford in P3, the Renault, Tyler Beasley P4, Josh Banks P5, Mackenzie Stewart P6, Engine Nadal, I think it is, in P7, Sebastian Spicer P8, Nadal in P9, Kazim in P10. Wait, give me back my list. And then everybody else. That list isn't true, so sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. A bit slow there on the rundown. Robbins just said Addy will probably be the one to watch from the start. The soft tyre should have better traction coming off the line, so yes, he is right. Tyler Beasley, if I'm in an incident, I'll be annoyed. By the way, the last 2 league races I've been in a crash, so Tyler will be hoping for a clean race. Being at the front, he's on the second row, he should be in a pretty good chance to have a clean start. Unless if he bogs it down, but... So once we get going, guys, we'll have a minute silence here to pay our respects. So as they line up, ladies and gentlemen, we won't worry too much about the lights because we know there's a timing delay. Now Robin's just brought up a good point here in the chat, is he thought Alex would have been higher up like he was in Australia. So the Revs start the building. Let's get into this race, ladies and gentlemen, and we're off. Can Addy get the launch off for John? No, he doesn't at the additional launch. Bailey still held P3. Tyler's on the inside at P4. He's got it. Mackenzie Stewart diving around the outside. Bailey's been caught napping as well. So Tyler's made a position on Mackenzie Stewart as Mackenzie's on the outside of 3. There's no grip out there. He could lose this to Bailey as well. So Tyler's kept his nose clean at this moment. Addy hasn't. Oh, Tyler's gone wide. Tyler's off. Tyler's off the track at 4. So after that wonderful start, he's just cost himself all that position. Addy hasn't made those soft compound tyres work at the start compared to John. So now Addy's got all the work to do. Mackenzie Stewart in P3. Bailey forward in P4, Josh Banks P5, Sebastian's up 2 positions at P6, Nadir in P7, Kazim P8 is showing he's 1 lap down already, but that's not true.
Same as Alex as well.
Oh yeah, same as Alex as well, so there we go, we got a bit of glitching. Tyler's got a bit of front wing damage here. No, Tyler doesn't. So who's lost their front wing? Or does... Oh, Tyler has got front wing damage. So Tyler's awesome start's gone from bad to worse. As Nadir got spun around as well, he's lost 4 positions. So Tyler's not happy. Please, Tyler, do not retire in pit lane. If you're going to rage quit, mate, just put it into a wall. Because we know that they've still got that pit lane glitch. So Alex has got a lot of work to do. But he's on the hard compound tyre, so there is a bit of a strategy game playing. Josh Banks has got his old teammate come rival just behind him in Bailey Ford. So Bailey's had a terrible start, dropped 2 positions. Bailey's got his new teammate Sebastian, that used to race in F2 at the start of the season, decided to jump up to F1, and we know he's got pace. So as they come across the line at the end of lap 2, Addy's now being challenged here by Mackenzie. So this 2-stop strategy is not working here at the start. Mackenzie's on the inside, already got the job done before the braking point. Oh, Addy's held. Oh, he's pushed Mackenzie off, has he? Was there contact there? Mackenzie's spun.
Yeah.
He hasn't lost any wing, so there was contact there. Addy might have a bit of a answering to do there for that contact. So that won't make Mackenzie Stewart too happy. Tyler's put FFS every time in the YouTube chat. So Tyler's not having the best race as Matthew Elliott goes wide at turn 5, coming down the hill into the quick S's. Brett Keenan's just outside the points. Won't want to be running wide there at 10 for too long as Mackenzie goes up the inside of the new bloke. Job's not quite done, but he's just forced him a bit off the road there. Now Brett's got... Oh, Brett did have a bit of a run, but he's gone wide coming up the hill. John's just running away with this now as Addy's holding up the rest of the guys. Addy's gone defensive, but Josh has gone even further on to the inside. So can Josh get this move done cleanly? Yes, he does. Addy's lost the rear. Bailey's now on the inside at 3. So, as much as Addy's not really racing these guys, but he is, as the new bloke gets a 5-second penalty for collision with Brett. Brett's lost a bit of front wing, so Brett won't be happy either. Tyler's done the quickest lap, as Matthew Elliott has gone wide at 4, and he's just waiting for Brett to come past, I think.
Oh, Matt's no.
Yeah, so Matt's not having the best race either. So Alex is up the back of Engine's up the back of Sebastian. So Sebastian's just forming a little bit of a train here. John sets another quickest lap. Josh beats that. So now that Josh has got free pace over Addy, as Engine's got around Seb already. So what tyre compound are these guys on?
Alex is on hards.
Alex is on the hards, everyone else is on the medium, so
yeah,
pretty much. Tyler goes quickest now with a 22.3. So Tyler shows that he's got pace, he just never has any luck in the race starts. Which is a bit of a shame for him, because yeah, he has got pace. I do remember commentating with Brett in season 3, I think it was. Tyler and Yevgeno, who's not racing today, were the two competitors in the F3 before they stepped up into the F1. Kazima's retired. Where was that? Oh, the infamous second DRS straight. So that's unfortunate for him.
Yeah, it's very easy to do.
Very easy to do, and yeah, as we saw a couple of guys in the F3, his Engine now goes quickest. That he's got a bit of clear air now that he's made that move on Sebastian. Alex is going on the inside of Sebastian. Sebastian's a smart racer. Oh, he's got the switchback, but now he's on the outside of 3. It hasn't quite worked off for him. So Alex is now up to P6. Bailey's got around Addy. So now can Bailey start showing his pace? There's a big gap in between. As Brett's in the pit lane. This will be to replace that nose. After that contact. So he should come out in front of Matthew. So Addy will be almost due for a pit stop. And then we've got... We don't really have any battles to watch at the moment. Matthew Ellie is out of this race. John goes quickest again. Robin's trying to rub it in that I crashed at turn 9, but I hit someone at turn 9, Robin, just to prove a point.
Yeah, I actually just spun.
I didn't see a stranded car in the middle of the track as my teammate was blocking my view, and I've just run straight up into him. So yeah, I was off in my own little world, didn't really see him, and just hit the stranded car. So Sebastian hasn't let Alex run away with this, as Sebastian now has got Mackenzie Stewart up the back. So Mackenzie's trying to do a bit of a recovery drive. So this is Engine's pulled up onto the back of Addy. We now have DRS down the main straight. So Addy's still holding those mediums out for another lap. That's interesting. So they would be 9 laps old, including, well, 10 laps old, including the out lap and the in lap of qualifying. So we'll just see how long he can stretch those. We don't want to be like Bailey last week, where he got that puncher trying to stretch the softs.
I think he's coming in this lap. I think this is he might be coming in this lap. Because there's a green scoop here.
Yeah, a green spanner there.
Thing.
So where will this roughly put him? Put him... If it's a clean stop, he might come out P9, P8. Might. If not, he'll be close to Nadir at P9. So got a lot of work to do. There's still a lot of racing to be had. There might even be a safety car. John's just pulled an absolute gap out here between Josh's. It's our first race of the season where there's no competition up the front at the moment. Every other race has been, you know, 3 guys battling for the lead. As Addy now gets overtaken by Engine. So Addy's really struggling now on these soft compound tyres, as we were going to expect. I thought Mackenzie's got to run on Seb. He's trying around the outside of 3. We know that doesn't work. There's no grip out there. Sebastian's kept it tight. He's pushed him to the outside at 4. Sebastian's kept his cool, but Mackenzie's gone the over and under. Oh, there's contact. There's been contact. Sebastian has been knocked off track there by Mackenzie. That won't keep Sebastian very happy. Now, whether or not that was...
I don't know about that one.
Yeah, whether or not that was a bit of desync or not, as Brett gets a time penalty for multiple warnings. So Robin's come on and said, I'm thinking that Addy is trying the one-stop softs to hards. So if that's the case, he's got another 3 laps to go on these soft compound tyres. I'd really like to see...
Yeah. Maybe
Yep.
one more. Maybe one more lap. Yeah.
Yeah, but he's still going to stretch those hards very long, as he's lost another position now to Alex. So I reckon his best bet was to go the 2-stop. Sebastian's in the pit. Is this for a new front wing? I think it will be. Yes, it is. So he goes under the hards. He'll make them work to the end. He's been jumped Tyler. So Tyler's now back in the positions after his terrible lap 1. So back to Addy making these softs go the 1-stop. I think his best bet would have been trying the 2-stop and just have the pace to run with these guys. We know he's quick. We know he's got the pace, or at least go a 2-stop with 2 sets of softs onto the hards.
Yeah.
And yeah, Robin said...
If he doesn't pit now, he's going to lose another position.
As you've called it right, he's in the pit lane, so we'll just watch this and see what you'd think he's going on the hards, but we'll just watch this. It is hard yeah, they are hards. So it's 21 laps. I'll have to go as long as Seb has, pretty much. We'll have 1 lap fresher tyres than what Seb has, so it's a gamble. It really is, but can he make it work? If anyone can, Addy will. We did see last week that was it Addy that made the mediums go 21 laps around Azerbaijan? Or was it somebody else?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it was Addy.
you know, we can't give off this.
Oh, sorry.
Yep. Yeah, you go.
Oh, I had a torrid time in Azerbaijan. So yeah, I remember asking on the Discord about who had done 16 laps and they were dead, and the 21 was just stupid.
Yeah. So Bailey's caught up to the back of Josh. So now we have a bit of a battle here for P2. Bailey goes quickest with a 21.9. That was about my qualifying lap on a hard compound tyre, so he's clean around the inside at turn 1. Josh would have known that Bailey's a little bit quicker in this game, but Josh can keep up with him. There's only a tenth or two between the two drivers, so best bet not to fight it. Just let Bailey try and drag him up towards John. Maybe do an undercut on John and get some of this gap back. But we'll have to wait, and they'll almost be ready for these medium compound drivers to come in the pits actually. As engines slowly catching these two. So Robin has said in the Discord that Sebastian's really had no luck this season. In F2 he was also taken out, which is the reason he come to F1, because he wanted cleaner racing, but he hasn't really got that today. But he did get that last week at Azerbaijan, and the week before in China I think he had a few little minor hiccups, but that was his first. As John's in the pit, sorry, and who was that was off?
That was Brett.
So John's come out. John will come out in clean air. Yeah, John's come out in clean air. He's got Brett just behind him. So what Bailey and Josh would have been hoping for is that John's come out in dirty air, but he's got 8 seconds to catch up on his teammates. Oh, Josh has gone wide at the quick S's and spun himself. Can he turn it around without hitting a wall or anybody else? Yes, he does. So he's having that's his first mistake of the race. Engine now gets promoted to P2 and Alex in P3. Mackenzie back up to P4, so that's a good recovery drive from Mackenzie. Now Alex is in as we got Engine with that horrible engine glitch. As Bailey's in the pits. We'll jump on board Bailey. Mackenzie's in the pit as well. Tell her to share. Oh, Josh gets a speeding in pit lane penalty. That's gonna hurt.
I dear can't get past this Red Bull. Oh, as I said,
Addy, you mean?
Oh, I just said. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, not very good with names.
It's showing on screen, guys, that Addy's running the soft compound tyres, but we know for sure that he's on the hard, so that's just a little glitch. Everyone now on the field is in hard tyres apart from Engine. So Alex and Leith both yet to make their stop, and Tyler are both yet to make stops. All yet to make stops. Tyler will have to do another one, of course. It'd be very impressive if he can make these hard compounds go to the end from lap 1. as Addy was getting attacked again from the Red Bull. And he's got Josh Banks right behind him. John's gone quickest with a 21.6. So Bailey's caught up a little bit. Josh being caught in this train will be hurting his chances. Josh goes to the inside. Then you got Tyler behind him as well, so Tyler won't be wanting to be doing any... Oh, Tyler's got the straight run speed on Josh. Oh, there's contact. There's contact. There was a bit of ghosting on my screen. I don't know if that's a bit of desync. So that's unfortunate for Tyler, as Brett's now left the session. So Brett crashed out as well. So Engine's still out there on his medium compound tyres. Mackenzie's got a 3-second time penalty. Engine's now in pits. So we'll see where this is going to put him out. Gives Alex the lead of the race, as Engine gets a 5-second penalty for speeding in pit lane. So Alex is having a wonderful drive now. Robin put that seems like desync for that crash between Josh and Tyler. It did look a bit suspicious, being that Tyler kind of ghosted through Josh to make the move in front of him. So this Engine comes out P4, 5 seconds behind Bailey. So Bailey hasn't caught up on John yet. Alex should... If Alex can keep this pace, he'll come out in front of his good mate Mackenzie Stewart. Just Tyler's back in the pits. Tyler's not having the race that he would have wanted after the second row qualifying. And he had a very good launch off the line. He kept it clean. But this is why Brett's trying to get regionals up and running. So if you're watching this and you want to do racing, we are doing regional competition. So it'll be Oceanic, Europe and the US. So there won't be so much desync. I don't know about yourself, Joe, but I'm not doing regionals. I'm only doing this league due to time restraints.
Yeah, I'm doing regionals as well. Well, yeah, I'm doing regionals.
Yep. Okay. So Bailey's caught up to John a little bit, and Engine's kept up with him. So John's... Oh, excuse me. John's starting to lose this lead that he had. And again, Bailey's just showing his consistent driving here. As we got Josh again trying to overtake the new guy, Leaf. He's coming up to his nemesis corner. He's hit the ripple strips. He's kept the car straight this time around. He's gone around the outside, coming into the hairpin. John's just set the quickest time. Josh is cleanly around the outside of the new guy. So in effect, the younger brother of Toro Rosso is taking the position off the older team of Red Bull. So Alex is still holding the lead of 6 seconds. Bailey's just 3 seconds behind. As the new bloke... Oh, the new guy gets a 5-second penalty for speeding as well. I wonder if that's a glitch. He's been held, so he's got a 5-second before as well. New front wing goes on the car. gone onto the medium tyres. Which now puts Tyler back into the points. So we've really got no battles here per se, but Bailey is catching John with 1 lap fresher tyres. And then Engine's catching Bailey with 2 lap fresher tyres. So we could have a bit of a battle here at the end of the race. Alex is in the pits. So Alex has thought long enough on these hards. Let's go to the mediums. So Alex is going to come out right with his good mate Mackenzie Stewart. So this will be a tasty little battle between the two New Zealanders. And Addy from that P2 position is now P6. And I'd be really surprised if he can make those hards go all the way. Already done 8 laps on them, and we've still got 14 more to go. So that'll be 22 laps. Tyler's spun it at the main straight. Turn 16, I think that is. So we might have a battle here for P10. Because Tyler's rears are cooked now. So it's not the race that Tyler be wanting at all. As Bailey's caught another half a tenth on John. And Engine's keeping up with him. Alex has got DRS on his mate Mackenzie. As we got a scrap here for P10. Leiford went deep into the quick S's, that's why he's dropped that position back. But if Tyler can just cool these rears down, he should be right. We'll have to take them 16 laps, so that's right on their threshold. As now we've got a battle for P4. So Alex coming out. He's got the better tyres by 6 laps. Softer compound. Mackenzie's just let him through there. He knows that at this moment he doesn't have the pace or the tyre life, but if you can keep up with him, these hards will come back into life very shortly when the mediums start to die. So at this moment, Engine's just caught Bailey by a couple of tenths. As again,
Engine's got a speeding
pit lane penalty. Yes, so
yeah.
None of the top two do they? Bailey's penalty free, and I think John's penalty free as well. So.
Oh.
So at the moment, Engine's got a steady P3. You can't lose any more. Well, you can lose a couple of more seconds off of Alex, but you wouldn't want to lose any more. But I think Alex has got a penalty as well, so. I think maybe not.
He's got
one warning? Oh, I thought he got a speeding in pit lane as well. But obviously not. So what's your thought so far, Joe? We'll just get a quick... As Tyler's out of the race. Oh no, that's unlucky for Tyler. So he won't score points this weekend. So yeah, back to my original question, Joe. What's your current thoughts on the race, and what's your predictions now?
If Alex just keeps done very well when we're positioned on the hard, so if he just keeps pushing, we could get third. And it looks like very even between Bailey and John. So, yeah.
Yeah, so Robin's come out and said Bailey has, I think, more pace on the hards than John. Gap was 4 seconds when Josh was second, and the gap is now 3 seconds. Keep an eye on that. Tyler's a bit over league racing today. So unlucky there for you, Tyler. I feel your pain, mate. I hope you keep watching the stream, and I hope fortunes change for you at Monaco. But at this moment, so Engine's dropped a bit of time off Bailey now. Bailey's just quicker than John, but we need something to spice this up, don't we? We need a safety car or something and really spice it up for us.
4 cars have gone, there's no safety car.
Yeah, that's... And John's got a lot more ERS saved up than what Bailey has, so you can tell Bailey's pushing for this to make this a battle, but I don't know if... Yeah, Bailey's clearly got pace, and Engine's got pace as well. Oh, so Tyler was complaining with that desync crash between him and Josh. It was a Red Bull that turned right into me and Josh and gave me damage that I couldn't change my wing for. So it was slight damage on Tyler's car, but they wouldn't automatically change the wing. Obviously you can set that to... I won't be surprised if he reports me when he caught me because I just hit him off out of frustration. Well, that's not very professional like Tyler. But each to their own, mate. You'll have to wait and see for any reports. You might have a case to answer there. So Bailey just lost a touch of time. Mackenzie's lost 1.5 seconds on Alex. Sebastian's almost caught Nadir. Josh is still 4 seconds off at Addy. Addy I'm very surprised at. I'd be surprised if Addy doesn't come in and try his fastest lap. I know he won't keep that position on Josh, but yeah, no one else is really safe apart from Sebastian if he doesn't get past Nadir here. So yeah, maybe Sebastian could go quickest lap with 8 laps to go. You won't want to do it just yet, but you know, if they've got a set of softs in... Oh, Mackenzie gets very tail happy in 4. Thought that was going to be his spin. So now Bailey's losing time on John. Thought John might be pushing, but he's still got near on 90% of his battery, so maybe Bailey's just lost a bit of time that he's saving battery. Maybe his engine's got a little bit hot. I think that's Addy's first penalty. So that could almost cost him... Oh no, Josh has got that 5-second penalty for speeding. So it won't cost him a position. So Alex hasn't caught engine as quick as we thought either on these medium compound tyres. So the front 6 guys, 7 or 8 guys will make it. Well, no, the front 5 will make it to the end. Addy, I'm not quite sure about. Yeah, it'll be very interesting to see how hard his tyres will be there. But Bailey's losing time to John. Engine's losing time to Bailey. Which is weird because Alex isn't gaining any time, so... But Alex is pulling away from Mackenzie. Josh is gaining on Addy. So Sebastian's 16 lap old hards. So Sebastian's having a very terrible season at this stage. Changed to F1 to try and get some cleaner racing, but that hasn't really worked. I mean, it's not that F2's dirty, it's just they're not as cautious as these guys are. You know, and same as F3, myself and Joe can say that F3 is not the cleanest of leagues at all times, but we try and give each other room. We just, it just sometimes doesn't work. So Josh has caught.
Yeah, I think it's also about respect between drivers as well. So.
Yeah, so Josh has caught up to the back of Addy. I think these guys too, they know they can't win on lap 1. Like, they can't win a race at turn 1, lap 1, but they can definitely lose a race. So as John pushes now for the quickest lap, F3 usually goes all guns out the first lap, try and get your position, try and get in front of the group so you don't get caught in carnage later.
Yeah.
And that usually causes carnage for guys like me at the back of the pack. Try and play dodging cars.
Yeah, F2 was much like that as well last season.
Yep. So you've come down from F2, haven't you, Joe? You started season 4 in F2, did you? Or were you always F3?
Yeah. I was always F3 until like last season I was F2 and then I moved down.
Ah, rodeo.
Yeah.
What, you didn't think you had the pace for F2? Like, you seem to be quick enough for F3. You're always there or thereabouts for podiums, but could you see yourself moving up to F2 soon, or?
I do believe an F2 like caliber drivers. I don't think I have the consistency.
Yeah, rightio.
To be in F2.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Josh now's right on the back of Addy. We'll go to that fight because that is literally the only battle on track. So
It'll be a lot closer.
Yeah, we were hoping for a lot. You know, the last 4 races haven't disappointed. You know, I usually do a bit of study just in case if it is a boring race, but I knew that one day I wouldn't do any study, any track facts or anything, and would have a boring race, so I'll take that on board for the rest of the season. I'll do my studies.
Spain's here for next year, isn't it, as well?
Yeah, so in Spain being the circuit that we mostly go to, we got our evaluations at the start of the seasons here at Spain, and then you got this race, so it's probably the track most drivers would practice the most. Being for those two events, you'd expect a bit more pace and a bit more closer racing, but we just haven't got that today, which is a shame. So Josh still can't find a way past Addy. Addy's tyres look like they're about cooked. He's got that rear sliding again a bit through that S's there at the last chicane. Josh has now got DRS open in overtake mode. Rich engine as well, I'd presume. He's trying around the outside. There's a squeeze. Oz Bailey's got his first penalty, so that's going to take him out of contention. But Josh has got that move done very cleanly. But Addy's now back. Oh, I thought Addy was having a dive back on the inside. Looked a lot closer than what it was. So we're right on board Addy. As we got Sebastian. So Sebastian's gone in for the quickest lap. Are we going to see anyone else dive in? Now that Nadir's got track position as well, he could go for a dive. So we have a couple of people trying for the fastest lap. So I'll throw it out to you, Robin. I know you're not here in the com box, but you're there in spirit. What's your thoughts so far of the race? If you could leave a comment, that'd be nice. As Addy gets too much of that sausage curve, and it's costed him a good run down the main straight. So Josh should comfortably keep this position. 6/10 is too far back to make a dive. But Addy was putting his car in the mirrors just to make Josh have a look. As Nadir is in the pit, so I've called it. As he's got that horrible engine glitch, so we won't ride on board for him for too long. But I'd say he's going softs. You'd have to go to softs. You're not going to get fastest lap on any other tyre, are you? Soft tyre it is. So John's coming around onto the main straight to start the second last lap. And he goes quickest with a 20.5. So Sebastian's playing the teammate game here, as he's now in front of John actually. So Sebastian's trying to take that extra point off John. As Robin has got back to me, so I'll just read this out for you, ladies and gentlemen. Robin has put, it was quite interesting at the start and there was some incidents, but after the pit stops the race has just died a bit. And for the championship, John will have 17 points now ahead of Bailey. And also thought Alex would be in a podium contention as he's on the softer compound. So yeah, we thought Alex would have been pushing a bit harder, but being so far back at the grid, he was in the lower spots there for the qualifying, so that's obviously hurt his strategy. But as Mackenzie gets another 3-second penalty, so that's 6 seconds now for Mackenzie's got the gap back to Josh to get a couple more, but he won't want any more. So as we start the final lap, I still don't believe anyone's taken the quickest lap off of John yet. Correct me if I'm wrong there, Joe.
No. Just looking at sector times for both the cars.
For Sebastian and Nadir.
Nadir
So,
went purple.
I thought Sebastian might have played a bit more of a team game and tried to help John up. I know it's not in Sebastian's nature to do so, but I thought that might have been a bit of the case, but it doesn't seem to be. So we're right on board John here for the final half of the lap, as Josh gets a 3-second penalty now to go on top of that 5 seconds, so that's 8 seconds worth of penalty, so he's going to lose that spot to Addy. So John's coming around the last couple of corners now, ladies and gentlemen, to take another win. Like Robin said, to put him 17 points ahead of Bailey now for the championship. So John comes across the line, Bailey comes across the line now. Engine comes across the line. So he had that 5-second stop go. So there's our top three, ladies and gentlemen. Alex is coming across the line to take P4, Mackenzie P5. And I'll just start inviting the top three into the party as your party host for some reason. It's a bit strange. So we had, who do we have? We got John, we got, oh, I'm not friends with the Legend Gamer, that's right. Where's Bailey at? Bailey, I wish these guys would appear online, it'd make my job a lot easier. So, there we have it. Now, did anybody get the quickest lap out of that? Sebastian's not going to get it. No. So I don't think anyone else got the quickest lap. So we'll go to P2. Mr. Bailey Ford. Probably not the qualifying you wanted, down P3 I do believe it was. We'll just get your thoughts on your qualifying lap to start with, and if Robin has any questions he can type it and I'll read it out to you. So just run us through your qualifying lap there to start with, Bailey.
Yeah, it felt alright. I just missed out on P2, Matty, so I think that really affected my race a lot. But nah, in practice I was doing 18.3s and I come to qualifying when it matters and I've done 18.6, so there was room for improvement, but it happens, so yeah, just gotta look forward to next week.
Yep. Now the race, mate, you didn't get the best start. I think you dropped to P4 if I remember correctly, or P5, and you're just saying there that Addy really let John get away there, and you just didn't really have the major pace to get around him. So yeah, just take us through your race, mate, trying to get around Addy and Josh, and yeah, as you said, Addy was major impact to my race, trying to get around him, and Mackenzie going up the inside in turn 1 also affected me a lot. I had to avoid like taking the corner how I normally would with him there, but I think that just gave John the gap he needed, because we were pretty similar on pace. I was looking throughout the race, and yeah, towards the end of the race he just pulled away. But yeah, it's P2, I'm not complaining, but looking forward to Monaco, see what can happen there. Okay, so now we'll go to John. John, you've taken 4 out of the 5 pole positions, mate. Just run us through your qualifying lap there quickly, mate.
Yeah, the qualifying lap felt quite good. Yeah, just did a lot of laps on the hards to get into the field for it, and then managed to get the medium lap and that it. So it's good, and got a bit lucky with a soft runner in P2 as well, since those tires aren't that good in the race. And yeah, that really set me up in the race. Got a gap, could control it, and go for some fastest laps at the end.
Yep.
as well.
Yeah.
Other than that, not too much happening in the race, to be honest.
Yep. So now we'll go to the race. Yeah, you probably had the boringest race out of the whole field. You got the lead off the line. We thought Addy might have challenged a bit more being on the softer compound, but you got the launch off him, and once Addy held up, the likes of Bailey and Josh, they were too far away to really do anything. You got the undercut on them, so they were trying the overcut, but that didn't work either. And yeah, you really just had a race where you were out by yourself, mate. You've now gained 18-point gap on Bailey for the championship. So coming into Monaco, how's your... Robin saying 18. It was 17, but because he got the fastest lap, it's 18. So, not much to say about your race, John. But what's your thoughts on next week for Monaco, buddy?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I always enjoyed races around Monaco, and seem to do quite well there. It's a very different race to all others, so it's a fun one to have in the calendar. And,
yep, it's a race where qualifying matters. So
I hope it goes as well as it has.
So we'll be looking forward to that. So I'll throw it to Joe. Joe, have you got any questions for our top two runners here, mate?
How did you was it easy to keep the gap between you and Bailey, John?
I think since I got the gap pretty early, I always had a lot of ERS and fuel mix and reserve and that good tire life. So when the gap was closing, I could just use a bit more than that and drive the same way and get a stabilize. So
Just consistency.
still have to put in pretty fast laps, but didn't have to over push the car to keep the gap.
Yeah.
So,
Anything else? Anyone else want to add anything? I'll see we've got a couple of the retired drivers, Brett, Matthew Elliott, Sebastian are also here. Anyone want to add anything before we end it?
Monaco sucks.
Okay. Brett's called it. So we're going to skip Monaco for next. So we'll leave it there, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. John, another victory, another pole position. So taking an 18-point lead on the championship from Bailey. Coming into Monaco, the one track where qualifying matters the most. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for racing. Our thoughts go out to the entire F1, F2 community for the tragic loss of a driver overnight. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers there in Australia, and we'll catch us all next week.